You're listening to Evergreen Media Network. I am Cindy Schwartz, and this is the Patient Partner Show. We are a podcast on Spreaker as well as on iHeartRadio. Jeannie Roller is my co-host. Jeannie Roller, today we are talking about doctors that are actually criminals and what the different crimes they have committed, and they still remain doctors. And where does that leave us again for the umpteenth time? How many more stories do we need to know? Do we need to hear about that the medical people are involved with, and what do we know as patients? You know, I mean, how do you trust anymore some of this stuff? We said it so many times, but yet there are thousands and thousands and thousands of doctors out there that are in it for the right reason and do the right thing by the patients and, you know, give phenomenal care, and it's the way it used to be. And I told you, you know, the GP doctor that I have that's in configuration, what's the right word, with a big clinic and a nationwide clinic, that said to me, you don't need to be talking with me, you need to be talking with the administration. So we know when there's a problem, always at the end of the day, it is the management, the administration that needs to steer it the way that it should be steered, but then they have a different viewpoint than we do. And do the doctors just get caught up in this? But I'm getting a little bit off a topic with that. But how do we know then, I guess, with the administration letting a lot of this stuff go, how do we know who these doctors are that are committing crimes, and yet it's not out in the forefront and the patient's going in there literally blindly trusting, and then you wind up with you don't even know what. And then you have to fix it at the end of the day on your end, and because you don't get any help for the most part on their end. So, Jeannie, let's talk about a couple of these cases. Just the ones that you sent me, it's mind-boggling. It's just mind-boggling.
Yeah. Well, and I might add in there, it's just not doctors, it's nurses.
Right.
It's the
medical
anyone
people
within the medical system.
Yeah, medical people.
There is a physician who was arrested last summer on the suspicion of killing 4 patients that is now suspected of killing 10. And in some of the cases, he allegedly tried to cover up evidence by starting fires, and these fires were at the homes of the patients. So, I mean, you know, that's just scary, Cindy. I mean, he's stalking them in their homes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you know what, not to make an excuse for it, but I told you that I have, I interrupted you. I told you that I have a friend that was a psychologist and did many years of therapy with the medical community of them taking their own medications. That was the biggggest part of the practice that person was involved with. So, I mean, there's that aspect of it, too. So are these doctors, these medical people that we're talking about, under their own influence of their own medications as well? I mean, it's scary. It
is. I mean, it's scary to know that someone who is there to help you can actually have thoughts of wanting to kill you. And, you know, we've talked about this before. There's not anything really in place that weeds out this type of behavior. It's just outright scary.
Supposedly there is. Yeah, supposedly there is. Well, but how do we know? You and I know that it didn't work in our cases.
Well, no, I mean, they don't give mental health tests to these people every year. So, I mean, it's only when something actually happens and there's enough publicity to force it out in the open that something it is done. That's how it appears to me.
Okay. Yeah.
But because these people can go on for years and years and years doing harm. There's another one of a pediatrician accused of animal cruelty because a cleaning lady found that a malnourished dog inside a plastic storage bin in this pediatrician's apartment. I mean, there again, you have a doctor who is dealing with children that is also accused of animal cruelty. How can she give good service to children? How would you even trust her if she is so cruel to a defenseless animal?
Well, and again, they're being accused of it. We don't know what the end result of it is. I mean,
right.
You know, we don't know that. And of course, this is all our opinions. We say that every week, too, and the stories and stuff that we come up with. It's just, it is mind-boggling. And it's just mind-boggling. And it is terrible for the people that are in it for the right reasons. It is, that are trying to give good care.
Yeah. And another physician has been accused of setting fire to another doctor's home. And this doctor was placed on administrative leave, which, wow, administrative leave. Yeah, again, they've been accused, they haven't been convicted, but I mean, scary, scary, scary to me that this, it goes on. I mean, wow. And families are upset that ongoing investigation of a neonatal nurse accused of harming infants was granted bond. I mean, wow. It's just mind-blowing.
So
I hope that I hope that during this investigation, this person's license has also been suspended.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, that.
I don't really know. Another one is that a hospital has been accused by a family that their privacy was invaded when they used cameras to spy on them and their child for more than a month, with the purported aim of painting them as child abusers. And, to be sure, there are children that come in that have been abused by their parents.
Yeah.
But the stance that some hospital systems take about, trying to make parents abusers when they're not, that's some scary stuff. And it always makes you think twice about taking a child in that maybe has fallen, because you don't know how the hospital system is going to view it. So, that's scary as a parent.
Well, especially in this day and age, that kind of thing, sometimes you want to err on the side of caution, but, I'm like not laughing at it, but I'm like, why can't we as the patients turn around and put the cameras on them if they're putting the cameras on us? Because we can't do that. We're not allowed to do that. I mean, and if the cameras are on in some instances in ORs and those kind of things, it's funnily, oftentimes, again, my opinion, that the edited version of it is the one that shows up, surfaces, and not the unedited version, if you will. And we've heard
another one. Another doctor was convicted of submitting more than $24 million in fraudulent claims to Medicare for unnecessary medical lab tests and braces. I mean, $24 million before.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. How does the system even recover that money? They don't.
They don't.
So,
from us, they do. When I lived in North Carolina many, many, many years ago, there was a doctor there that was accused of that and did wind up being convicted of some kind of Medicare fraud. It wasn't that intense, but still, it's a crime. And that doctor, as far as I remember correctly, moved from that state to another state. So part of the process was he couldn't be licensed in North Carolina any longer, but he just moved to another state with another license, and that was it. What's to say that didn't happen again in the new state that doctor went to? Yeah,
right. And that, opens up the discussion of when we switch car insurance, the insurance companies have a database on us.
Yeah.
Why aren't they keeping databases on these medical people from state to state? I mean, to me, that's really a simple thing that should be done so that, that a person can't move from one state that they've lost their nursing or physician's license into another state. I mean, it's just a simple thing.
Well, I think in my opinion, and we only got a couple of seconds left. In my opinion, we are all under the mindset of what it used to be years ago as far as the trust factor and all of that. And then these doctors are put at a higher benchmark than we are as regular people. And rightfully so in a lot of instances. Absolutely. I get that. But you cannot abuse that. That's what's happening now. More and more of the abuse of that trust and that trustworthiness, and then the not the stigma, the opposite of stigma, well, I guess you could call it a stigma, is that these doctors are above certain things, and somebody has to make the ultimate decision. It's a tough job. It is when you do the job right, certainly, but when you take advantage of that, then that's where the complications arise. On that note, stay listening to Evergreen Media Network.